If you want to be a successful Airbnb owner in 2024, and you're probably doing it all wrong, but I can help you so it does not end badly. I've got 3 things that you need to be focusing on in 2024, and you can turn it around to turn your non-profitable short-term rental into an actual cash machine in 2024. Let's get started. All right, number 1, this is the absolute most important thing that I'm gonna share with you is revenue management. The properties that I see and the owners that I see that are underperforming, if they're in a good location, now if you bought in a bad location, in a bad market, and a bad bedroom count, then I probably can't help you. But if your property has the ability to be saved, or you're doing good and you want to move to great, like go from the 50th percentile to the 75th or 90th percentile, the majority of this is going to happen in revenue management. So a lot of you are just doing manual pricing. That literally is costing you 20 to 30%. You can see a 20 to 30% increase simply by just using a tool like Price Labs. There's also Wheelhouse and Beyond Pricing. I personally use Price Labs because you don't know when that 4,000 person, girls travel soccer tournaments coming to the 28 fields that they have in your town. Like in Gulf Shores, I didn't know that happened. But you know what? The demand shows in an app like Price Labs, and it dynamically increases your pricing for you. But doing something like that is not set it and forget it. I know that a lot of people think that Airbnb short-term rental investing is passive. It's really not, right? We do have to put some effort into it. We can automate a lot of it. And if you want to learn how to automate, you can go back and watch my last video here on the channel, because I go over that and how I make over $1 million a year in net income, literally by spending less than 5 to 7 hours a week working on my properties. But in revenue management, you can automate as well. And that's really one of the mistakes that a lot of owners make, is that they just set it up one time and then they leave it. Well, we've got to do some work. We need to put some effort into this. We need to optimize our revenue management. That's why I don't call this just, hey, just go sign up and pay for a dynamic pricing tool. That's not good enough in today's climate. We have to enact. We have to learn how to do revenue management. And one of the number 1 things, the number 1 data point that you need to know is what is the booking lead time in your market. Not for your property. You can pull up your Airbnb app and see what the booking lead time is for your property. I don't care about your property, and you shouldn't either. We want to know what the market lead time is, because that's what we're going to optimize all of our pricing strategy off of. As an example, if you have a 50-day booking lead time, if you are charging the same minimum night stay and the same rates at 100 days out or 150 days out, you're leaving money on the table. I'm going to give you an example. Let me break this down for you Alabama style for a second. Super simple. If you're charging $100 a night and you have a 2-night minimum and you have a 50-day lead time, at about 150 days out, you should be at a 4-night minimum and be charging $200. At about 100 to 75 days out, as we get closer to that 50-day lead time, you should be at $150 a night and 3-night minimums around 100 days. As we get down to like 65 days, so like 2 weeks ahead of that average booking lead time, you should be in line with your pricing and you should be at that 2-night minimum. Now, one of the things that's really important is you have to do a little bit of research. Great thing that I love about Price Labs is I can set up some competitor analysis and I can see where my competitors are. I also get weekly market research reports from them. So I can use that information to manually adjust my pricing and set up the automations that I have on the dynamic pricing side. A lot of people don't understand that you can control your aggression level. You can, literally tell the tool that, hey, I want the pricing to fill my occupancy. You can set seasons. You should have higher rates on high demand dates. They do that for you, but when you know your location is better than the market on the 4th of July, or because you have a music festival or something that's coming in, then you can raise your pricing as well. So it's really important that you go in. And I'm going to tell you, honestly, when I first started in this business, like most of you, I just did manual pricing. And then I got introduced to Price Labs, and I implemented Price Labs, and just immediately, all I did, like most of you, was set the low, the median, and the high pricing on my property. And I just let it take over. I'm not doing any of the stuff that I just talked about. Didn't even know what my market booking lead time was, and I saw a 31% increase. 31% increase in my revenue because of the dynamic pricing tool. It knows the demand, has access to Airbnb, it has access to Vrbo, it knows all this stuff. So then when I saw that 31% increase, I'm like, holy smokes, I need to start paying attention to this. And I started benchmarking. So now I started benchmarking my own property against my competitors, and I learned that I was better. Even way back pre-COVID, I had golf carts, I had paddle boards, I had the murals, I had great views of the beach. I had all this stuff that is almost automatic. We have to have it today, but nobody had it back then. And what I found is I was charging what everybody else charged, just because that's what people do. So when I took my property from $2,500 a week to $7,500 a week, then I saw during the summer I could get $10,000 a week. It was all because of revenue management. And by the way, my last point is going to blow your mind, so stick around for the last one. But before we get to that, I want to talk about kind of hard work. I use a term called the 2 extra steps. Taking those 2 extra steps that other people won't do, that those other hosts, those other investors are not going to take, is what's absolutely critical. I know that the IRS classifies this investment into short-term rentals as passive income, but it's really not. We've got to put some effort into it, just like I talked about previously, into your revenue management. And here's what I'm talking about. There's really a couple of things. The hospitality is critical. You know, as I talked about in that automation video I did previously, you can go in and see that. I send 15 automated messages to my guests, but some of the things that I do manually is I send them a welcome video. Every single guest that books, hey, my name's Bill, blah, 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 unique value proposition this, I want to take care of you. And I text it to them via phone, not on platform, but via the phone number. And I do that because nobody else does it. And that also builds rapport with my guests, right? So then that ties into more marketability after they're there. If they have a great stay, I have a higher likelihood of being able to bring them back to stay again, or have them stay at one of my other properties. And that's where the marketing kicks in, right? So one skill that you've got to have is you need to focus on listing optimization. You need to get your property to page number 1. If you're on page 2, you're dead. If you are on page 4 or 9 or 10, you are virtually non-existent. And I'm going to talk about that in that third one, the big, the big finish, the big finale that's coming here in just a second. So you have to know how to market, right? You got to increase that whole part of the revenue management is your optimization, your ranking, because you can't charge the highest pricing if you're on page 4 or if you're on page 5. And there's a lot of things that go into that off-platform marketing. So there's a reason that I started Market My STR, which is a platform that allows us to do, build funnels, do email campaigns, text message marketing, host our direct booking website, all of that stuff. You should have a platform called StayFi in your property. And it does cost a little bit of money, but it replaces your existing router. It's like $100, $125 for the router, and literally it's like $5 or $6 a month. But here's what happens. You have to be sending emails to your guests. If you're not emailing your past guests to bring them back, you're really not doing your job. And that's one of the things you got to do in 2024. That's why I'm doing almost 40% direct bookings, because I've created this 200-day funnel that literally brings my guests back, and I'm emailing them about every 21 days with valuable information for them. And it's automated. I automate that in Market My STR, right? So I'm email marketing. I'm working on my listing optimization. The one thing that I don't do is I don't waste time on organic social media. I do run Facebook ads, but I don't waste time posting to Instagram unless you live there. So I'm a remote host. I own properties all over the country. I don't own anything here in Nashville where I live. So I don't have the ability to be able to create content consistently at my properties. So I stay away from that. I only focus on the things that make me money. And that's some of the focus that I want you on. You can work hard, you can put in a lot of time, but I want to work less. That's why I've implemented a lot of automation. We'll get to that here in just a second. But I also focus on the things that make money and that are in my genius zone. So if you've ever seen a Venn diagram and you have 2 circles out here and one in the middle, so where it overlaps, that's the genius zone. For me, it's marketing. For me, it's I've made revenue management, a strength for me, and that falls into the genius zone. We want to fill the gaps that other hosts are not doing. So if you practice Avery Carl's enemy method, you just go do a little bit of research. We're talking 15, 20 minutes. And you look at the gaps of what's not being filled by your competitors, fill those gaps, and it'll give you a competitive advantage. All right, here it comes, folks. Leveraging technology. That's like the big finish, right? A lot of people are doing this manually, and even if you do think you have everything, it's not just about automation, it's about having the right tech. I am a huge fan of RankBreeze. RankBreeze because I was an SEO in a former life. I had a multi-million-dollar agency and did a lot of search engine optimization. That's what I'm referring to as listing optimization. So revenue management, number one, if I'm on page 4, I don't get the opportunity to maximize my pricing. If I can get up to where I'm on page 1 and then I'm good at revenue management, that's Willy Wonka's golden ticket. That is your ticket to paradise to be able to maximize your average daily rate, what we refer to as ADR. So one of the things I like about RankBreeze is, once again, I get to track my competitors, but then it has a log to where when I make a change, if I go and I update a title, I can log it, and I can log it against my competitors, so I'm benchmarking. So if anybody's ever done any true A/B testing with marketing, you make one change, you let it marinate for a while, you see what happens, if it goes up, if it goes down, if it makes you more money, less money, and then you make another iteration. So you make one iteration at a time, and that's the cool thing about RankBreeze is I get to track that all the way along as I'm going through. I use Market My STR that I mentioned. On full disclosure, I'm a partner in that company. But one of the things that I've done is I took my experience as a marketer building over 31 businesses and doing $1 billion in sales I was one of the early HubSpot customers. I was customer number 33 with HubSpot. And I watched their platform grow. I use an all-in-one marketing platform to grow multiple businesses from 2007, I guess, 7-ish, all the way through 2017 for a 10-year period. But the problem is it's too expensive for us as hosts. So I got with my partner, Scott Hill. We created Market My STR. We made it super affordable. So I do have email funnels that are set up, as I talked about previously, a 200-day funnel to bring my guests back. I'm hosting all of my properties on the sales pages, the direct booking websites are through Market My STR. I have text message marketing that's going out. I'm able to embed videos. I do my social media planning and scheduling through that platform. There's like these core 4s that become critical. So I'm leveraging these apps, and I can do everything through here. It's got a CRM, so essentially the sales for co-hosts, because I also do co-hosting. I can run everything through a sales funnel through that. Like, one of the other things about technology is just the simple stuff. So you're not dealing with the minutia and the BS from guests. Like, literally, people complain or they forget to log out of the televisions when they log into their Disney Plus channel or their Netflix. Using Roku TVs to set it up with guest mode is critical to saving time and automation. So you can focus on the things that are going to make you money, right? Having, like, I use Schlagen code locks, Wi-Fi locks, so you don't have to worry about somebody losing a key or doing something under the mat. Having smart thermostats to where you can, I use Ecobees, you can use Nest, to where you can control everything from here. My Ring security cameras control from here. Literally my Pentair pool app to control the pool heating at my properties, I can control from here. That's why the technology is critical, because that allows me to stay inside that genius zone and focus on what I am really good at. Finding and underwriting properties, revenue management, marketing, hospitality. Those 4 things is how you can crush 2024. Now, if you like this video, click the video on the screen because you're going to like that one even more.